Hello, everybody, and welcome to Warhammer Weekly, Week 2. That's right. I am Vince Venturella. We are here for another week of exciting rumors, roundup, discussion, Q&A, segments, exciting guests, so much in an hour. How can we provide this much value? The answer is simple, volume. All right, I am here with my ever-present co-host, Guy Buttersnaps. Tom, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Tom Lyons. I am a newer Warhammer player, and I like spiders.
There you go. Very good. Not the real kind, hopefully, just the fake plastic kind.
Yes.
And also joining us is the one, the only, the man who needs no introduction, the true Tomb King himself, who has left behind his sinful ways as a warrior of chaos cheater and come to find the one true path of Chimerian freedom, Lord Tremendous.
Everything that he said is true. Hi, Lord Tremendous. If you don't know me, you should. I'm awesome, and I'm arachnophobic.
All right, very good. Well, as usual, at the top of the show, we're going to start off with a little week in review. Talk about some of the news and rumors and things that have come out this week. So we'll start out with some news. Obviously, right now we're in the middle of a 40K release cycle, so we don't have any new models or anything exciting in fantasy because those other guys are getting stuff right now. They're getting their metal skeletons. I guess on the bright side, a whole bunch of people are going to get new armies they can paint with a can of spray paint and a jar of Nuln Oil, so that's exciting. But over here, there is something interesting coming out of Warhammer Land I wanted to make everybody aware of. And that is that Games Workshop has gone full-on Willy Wonka. So right now, there is a special contest going on that if you order $65 worth of stuff from Games Workshop between now and March 1st, perhaps, maybe, just maybe, if you wish upon a star and a Space Marine and the Emperor and a bunch of other things, you may be lucky enough to find a golden ticket in your purchase. And if you receive a golden ticket, you win a Space Marine's height in Warhammer boxed product laying on its back. So 7 feet of boxes of Warhammer stuff is what you win. There are, just as Willy Wonka has taught us, there are 5 golden tickets to be won this month. That many. 5. So, yes, very, very exciting. Tom, would you like to show? Tom already placed his order and did not get a golden ticket.
No, so they are mean people. And what that means is that when you open your box, you will get a little envelope that looks like this. You can imagine how excited I was when I opened my box. And it was sent not just from Games Workshop in Tennessee, the distribution center, but from some guy with the top name, then Games Workshop, and then their address. And I was like, well, that's interesting. Crack open a box, and it had this envelope. When I open the envelope, this is the first thing that I see, which is the image from the website of a Space Marine standing 2.1 meters tall. And I went, oh, amazing! And then you flip it over, and it says, sadly, this is not one of the highly sought-after winning tickets. Parentheses, trust us, you'd know if it was. Dick move, GW. Dick move.
They have trolled you to the very last.
You gotta respect that level of dedication to the troll. I'm ordering based on that only. I want that card.
now let me just tell you, it's a $65 purchase that you need to make on the website. On the flip side, they did give me a consolation prize, which was a Skaven pen. So, yeah, it will be on eBay before the evening's over. But more than that, it looks like it's a rather popular item on eBay right now, and they're running for about $15 each. So
yes.
Yeah.
Tom, what would you get with your 7 feet of GW product?
Well, it's funny that you asked that, because I did the measurements on the GW boxes.
Of course you did.
So of course I did. So let's trot out what some of this looks like. So an infantry box of 10 troops is going to be between 3.5 and 4.5 centimeters laying on its back. You're going to have 210 centimeters of product. A monster box or the Island of Blood box is 6 centimeters. Okay? I know some of you are doing the math right now. Do you know how many Island of Blood boxes that is?
I'm going to guess a lot.
Yeah, I think 30-some. 36 Island of Blood boxes. Yeah.
I was really expecting you to have a precise answer when you ask a question like that. Giving the round number really isn't a great payoff for that joke.
Sorry. And then the battalion boxes are around 9 centimeters tall. So, obviously there's some flex there. So that's a lot of minis. I have no idea what I would get. All of GW's Witch Elves.
If you had 7 feet of product?
Yeah, all of GW's Witch Elves? How's that sound?
There you go. All of them.
All of them. I don't know. What would you get, Vince?
Well, I'll let Mr. Tremendous go first.
Well, the first thing I would do is I would get 3 Phoenixes. And I would bribe Vince with 2 of them if he painted one of the third one like he did that flaming one that he did, just so that I could have that. And I think 2 for 1 is a pretty good deal. And if he wouldn't take it, I would send a 4th Phoenix.
I would do 2-to-1 now.
2-to-1 now? Perfect. You heard that, GW. Hook me up, brothers. Other than that, I would get all the Tomb Kings. It would be kind of ridiculous. There would be so many kitties. No Necrosphinxes at all. Gosh, I would get all the new End Times characters, all the new, enough to build each one. I've already got Archeon, I've already got Nagash, but all the other ones, the new Skaven, Dark God, all those, all the Chaos ones. And then I don't know if it's just models that you could get, because if it was other things, I would probably also get like their huge paint box thing, all their paints, and I would use that also.
Yeah,
I would also use that to bribe Vince to paint stuff for me. Just crazy stuff like that, just to basically own Vince for about a year.
All right, here's my question for you, Lord T. Do you get a second Nagash just to have it built and painted a second time to let Death, Holy Death light it on fire again?
No, because unfortunately we've already done that, and my gaming group isn't big on repeats just for laughs. However, the Skaven Great Horned Rat model, all painted up, master painted, and then doused in lighter fluid and lit on fire, that might happen. That could happen if I win. This all. I have to make my order, which I'm going to now because I just want that card. I don't expect to win, but if I do, oh yeah, expect it. There will be many more burnings, except for the Phoenix. That I would keep in a glass case because that would be awesome. That was some next level stuff, man.
Thank you. If you burnt the Vermin Lord, I don't know if we could be friends anymore. That would be the only problem. I can accept the destruction of Nagash or any other Fig, but the Skaven are sacred. Plus, I would fear for your life, because undoubtedly Eshin assassins would be dispatched immediately. And you always have to watch out for them. They could be in the room with you right now. You would never know.
We were actually talking about that. Me and Death Holy Death were talking about that, and we were talking about taking it to a shooting range or an archery range first, and then with the arrows or the bullet holes in it, and then torching it. Just because we like to raise the bar when we do stupid, pointless things like that.
All right, you may be bringing me back, because if I could see some Lars Anderson archery tricks, if you can send it to Sweden and have that Lars Anderson archery guy put some arrows through it while he's hanging upside down from a jungle gym by one leg and whatever else he does, all right, then I'm in. Even the Vermin Lord could die for that.
We might contact him. That's a good idea. I don't know if he'd do it for free though. See, we have a budget and it's 0. So
think of all the tens of views he could get, though, in the massive Warhammer fantasy community.
Tens of views. Well, now that you say that, the budget is actually still 0. But yeah. Who knows? We might be able to come up with something. Get the whole community in there. The round the world to be murdered thing or whatever. The bucket list for the Horned Rat.
There you go. All right, so there you go, folks. Go and place your orders. You want your chance at the Willy Wonka golden ticket. I'm still waiting to see the factory line of a very rich parent with just people unpacking $65 orders looking for the golden ticket. that kind of thing. That hasn't happened yet. Or for like Mike TV to figure out the algorithm and just win it automatically.
So Vince, you didn't tell us what you were going to get.
What would I get? Just 2 new armies of my choice. I would roll a die for one of them and collect the whole army. That is the only true way to do it. Just randomly let the die fall and then pick that whole thing. Either that or all of the not putrid Blightings, whatever the Blight Swarm box is that comes with everything. Just all of that. Just 7 feet of that. Have like 32
Wow.
blow-ab rot spawns for no apparent reason. Yeah, there you go. And then I would run my car over half of them because Nurgle's disgusting. So there we go.
All you would do is make them look cooler. That's all they would accomplish.
Right? Yeah, sure. That's the best part about Nurgle. I think that's why he's so popular. It's not the toughness or regeneration. It's not the -1 to be hit. It's the fact that you can't paint them wrong. If you got like brown and green near them, at some point in the painting process, they're accurate.
Nailed it.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Other news. We had some more sort of 9th edition style rumors drop this week. Some more ins and outs news of possible things. Tom, you want to talk about some of those items that have come out in short order?
Sure. The biggest ones were some rumors came out of Daka that grabbed my attention. And it was more talking about you totally caught me like forgetting what I was even talking, where this was going. Yes, round bases. That's what we know. Round bases. No. It looks like potentially there's discussion about. Nothing new is the answer. I don't know how else to say it.
Well, I think there was a few new things, like the idea that the Lizardmen might not be going away was a suggestion that came out. Like there's been a big fear of the Lizardmen leaving, and that had some counter evidence offered this week. Obviously, all of this is highly suspect, internet rumoring, but there was some counter evidence offered that the Lizardmen will in fact be sticking around.
Yeah, the other one was maybe what looked like potentially some of the flavors of how things were going to change. This individual supposedly had a connection with Nottingham, and so he suggested that the Chaos faction is going to end up being mostly demons, with some of the other stuff tacked on. So aspects of Chaos and Warriors of Chaos and Beastmen coming in. They said a certain aspect of Chaos is going to go the way of Squat, potentially, and not the gods, not like an aspect of one of the 4 gods, but rather one of the aspects of the armies, and so. The anticipation obviously would be potentially Beastmen, but
my money is on anything ending in gore.
Yeah, that's probably a good call. The talk was Orc and Goblin concepts moving towards squigs and being more potentially savage. So moving more towards some of the things that don't look like all the other Orcs and Goblins from other ranges. The undead stuff, like they said, constructs may stay around in some form. Morghast, for example, of that, but a lot of the redundant units like Ushtabi and the Casket, Black Coach, stuff like that, could potentially be going the way of the Dodo. Skaven, they suggested...
Do Ushtabi still exist anyways? I don't know. I haven't seen him as anything but a unit filler in Lord T's army for most of this edition, so I'm not sure that they're actually a real unit anyways anymore.
They're in somebody's art, right?
I've summoned a couple of Bowshati, but
true,
no, I would never put them in my list. Yeah. I summon them to shoot at stuff and to block, but yeah, okay.
They are great when they're free. They are worth a total of 0 points.
Yeah, I like free.
Skaven, the suggestion is that Skaven are going to lean more into the tech and Frankenstein-esque units, and less away from the plaguey and sneaky Skaven look. That
I think to me, the thing that we had kind of mentioned briefly before the show was one of the things that interested me is people are afraid of losing units or having armies skinny down or armies squatted, and I think what one of the rumors spoke to was kind of the following concept. If you look at Orcs and Goblins right now, you've got, and let's take Squigs for example, you've got guys on Squigs, you've got Goblins on Squigs, whatever you want to say. You got Goblins herding Squigs, you got bosses on Squigs, and you've got maybe like a giant cave squig or something out of the Forge World. You got a lot of different sort of takes on the same theme, right? And so the idea would be to winnow that down into one thing. So instead of having 4 different kits and models and options or something like that, somehow that gets compressed into one unit that is, you know, goblins with squigs in some fashion. And maybe those have different assembly options. We know they're getting really good with multi-kits. Maybe they have different, maybe there's only one set of rules, but it still preserves the theme of the thing, which is goblin plus giant red soccer ball full of teeth equals fun. And that's really the important part of that. I don't think whether they're above or behind the squig is a necessary part of your fun, I suspect. Like, I don't think their orbital position around planet squig is necessarily the real linchpin that holds the orcs and goblins together. I think it's goblin plus squig equals awesome. So that kind of thing. That even if the book gets skinny down, we still preserve the important themes and ideas in a lot of the armies.
Like, so for Skaven, the suggestion is that, like, what we see in the new Rat Ogres, because there's originally a suggestion that you're also going to see a condensing down of the core units down into 3 different groups. Obviously, all of these are rumors. We don't know that any of this is confirmed. But the 3 units for, like, Skaven, the talk was like Skaven something and Rat Ogres was the talk. And
week 2 of high-quality information coming out of Warhammer Weekly.
Again, it's all rumors. It's not like it's real anyways. But, like, so for example, what we're seeing potentially in the new Storm Fiends, or the Storm Fiends, yeah, is that, like, the new Rat Ogres, those are replacing both the Rat Ogres and the current weapon teams. Because what you're seeing is on all the Rat Ogres, you're seeing the weapon teams being placed all over them with little very creepy mice masters strapped to their backs.
Yeah, I just want to point that out real quick. This is a bit of a tangent, but for those of you who haven't picked up your Storm Fiends yet and are thinking about it, I would just like to point out that on the back of your Storm Fiend, you will be surprised to find that maybe surprised, I don't know, that this rat has a tiny little, I don't know if everybody can see that. There, look at that. Can everybody see that tiny, creepy, open, brain-exposed monster on the back of the rat there? They have a backpack that is a tiny, creepy, brain-exposed rat baby. That is the most disturbing thing Games Workshop has ever made. Forget every tentacle that has ever crawled out of a Nurgle model, every hermaphroditic, slantish demon. Ain't nothing, got nothing on exposed brain rat baby backpack.
Like Total Recall Guado rat baby.
Yeah, like Guado. They all have Guado on their back.
Well, at least they're responsible parents, though. I mean, he didn't leave him at home or anything like that. He's got a rat baby with special needs. He got a backpack for him and said, "Come on, let's go commit some carnage in the name of the demon rat thing." And this thing said, "Squeak," and it was awesome. He's a good parent. I almost feel bad when I set him on fire later. I mean, no.
Reload my rattling gun.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I think if anything else, what we can take from Skaven is their parenting skills. I think that really is a good lesson.
Especially considering they breed in such volume. I mean, if that really, for them to take pity on the one with no skull, that shows a lot. That shows a lot. There's a times change right there.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Have a lot of young, eat half of them, strap the ones without skulls to your back. Got it. Okay.
See, imagine where we would be as a society if we did. No, screw that. I can't even get there anymore. Don't follow the same parenting guide at all. Please don't. Oh, God, we're going to get sued again.
But yes, to return us back to the tangent. Yeah, the idea that the Storm Fiend is sort of, it's that. I will be honest, even being as much of a fan of Skaven as I was, I really hated the explosion of weapon teams. The fact that, like, from playing Skaven since 1998 or whatever, watching these weapon team things grow and just become like, so many models and like, it's a lot of dumb stuff to keep and like Rat Ogres never get used because they're just not good enough. And when you can take all of those diverse concepts, most of which don't get played, admittedly, I mean, a lot of people, you don't see those on the table very often. And when you do, you're often let down by them. You want to play them, but you're asking for a kick in the teeth by putting them on the table. To combine them all into an actual good unit that preserves the flavor, gives you that thing you like, and is also a fun and competitive unit. If that kind of idea could be trotted out sort of with a mostly successful batting average, I think that's a great sign of things to come. So fingers crossed.
Certainly. What I'll say is that just two other pieces of information. One is that the movement for siege is going to be moving towards mounted siege weapons, and I think we've already seen some of that. Like in the Ragnarok, they have the lavas, and on the like the bolt throwers on the Scourge chariots and on the
You meant Skycutter.
well, on both, on the Skycutter and then also the Scourge runner have bolt throwers.
Okay, got it.
It's just the Scourge runner one is terrible, so no one takes it. But so that was one of the pieces of the information is the siege is probably going to look more towards like siege mounted on other creatures. And then the last one is, and this was from a different post, and it was a discussion about the talk right now is that it's not just going to be, it will be skirmish is what the talk is, but that it will scale up to full-on army-on-army action. And so what the dream game potentially of being both a skirmish game and a full-on army war game potentially is there. The suggestion is that may be what we're seeing, and so individual units or individuals that are not in units will be on the round skirmish bases. And heck, skirmishers are maybe on the round skirmish. Like, yes, they're on the round skirmish bases, but then when they unit up, they'll unit up like normal and trays and whatnot. So,
I think that would really be living the dream. I'll say of all the rumors that have potential upsides, this is the one that has me the most excited because I love the idea of having a skirmish game as your entry point, going up to a full-scale war game at the high end. To me, that is the promise of growing this hobby so big. Because one of the reasons skirmish games are popular, low barrier of entry, easy to get into, easy to get your head around the rules, you're managing 10 to 30 figs or something like that. It's not a big investment of time and painting compared to a current Warhammer army, which looks something like that. And, you know, that's a little more time and investment. And the idea that one could more organically get into it, try an army in a small way, and then decide if they want to get up into the bigger force. I mean, and we've seen they know how to make a great skirmish game. Wartime exists. Everybody's playing it right now. So, you know, it must still be good 15 years later. And so we know they've got the tech. Just get it on the table. And if you could have that legitimate system, to me, that is an upside I can't even wrap my head around. Like, that is a wonderful world to live in.
Yeah. I would say the other thing with that is that you had pointed out, Vince, that son of a bitch, my brain is everywhere but here right now. I'm sorry.
Dial in, Tom.
That the I got nothing.
That's fine. You know what goes really good on a live show? Dead air.
Yeah,
that is
dead
super
air.
awesome.
You are welcome. I just wasted like 45 seconds of your life, all of you. Thank you.
Well, the refunds are in the mail. They'll be fine. The refunds are
exactly. No, you're fine. It's all good. So yes, very hopeful situation. Like honestly, the news this week mostly positive. So you know, let's all keep our happy faces on.
There was another quote that I did find. It was on Warshire, source in Nottingham. He suggests that Lizardmen will be playable, which is what we kind of talked about. Like it's one of the rumors that are coming out. Correspondingly, they're potentially going to get new models, although his source didn't know if they would be their own faction or part of another faction. He wanted them to say, and I quote, "People should be preparing for a lot of he had a little like WTF face moments, though. This is going to be the Marmite edition of fantasy."
Yes. So for our non-UK watchers, would you like to explain that reference?
Yes, so Marmite is I had to look this up because I have no idea what this is. It is a paste. It is a type of food.
Food.
Whatever you want to call it. But anyways, their tagline is something along the lines of you'll either love it or you'll hate it.
So there you go. That is the edition. All right. Well, with all that controversial material out of the way, let's move to hobby time. So, what are we working on? What are we putting together? What are we hoping to get or collect? Lord T, what about yourself? I know you just I watched your Shiloh battle reports, and I saw your beautifully new painted army with it. You and your wife did in time for Shiloh there. Are you taking a breather now, or you got something else you're still attacking?
I have gone, and after the Shiloh playing exclusively Tomb Kings, now that we're back, my LGS, we play Undead Legions. Well, we play all the Legions. And so I've been playing around with a lot of different builds. I tried a couple of things, and my camera died on me, so I missed those battle reports. But it's okay. It's okay because I got like 3 more with a new list and stuff like that. So I got battle reports. It's just I don't have the time to get them all out as fast as I would like to. But they're coming out about once every other day. And I have doctored the list, I have twisted it a little bit, and what I've really discovered is I love the Tomb King theme. I love my Tomb King stuff, the chariots, the kitty. I mean, if you've watched one of my battle reports, you know that I'm really probably too much in love with the War Kitty. And I've got a whole bunch of things. Yeah, amen. But I obviously the catapult has been thrown about 3 miles away from my home. And I hope it's still soaring through the air, that piece of garbage. But there's just so many things that I liked about my Tomb King army and the way it flowed that I didn't change it as much as I thought I was going to. I did try to put a Vampire Lord instead of the Tomb King in, and I realized that I didn't like it. It just did. He was too far on his own or too exposed, and so I kind of changed it. I liked Red Fury. So I did that, and there's battle reports coming out to show all that. But what I've decided is I want to have the horde of undead. So I'm literally just picking up undead everywhere that I can, whenever I can, and the Tomb King stuff is still relatively cheap. And it's there's really no rhyme or reason anymore. I just want an entire room full of little painted skeleton guys in all their greatest forms, so that when I get a wild hare and I'm like, I want to try an all horseman cavalry undead list, I just literally need to go into my little man cave and pick them up off the shelf and go. So that's where I'm at right now. It's just that was why I would love to see the golden ticket. 7 feet worth of undead right now would be with -4 phoenixes and some paint would be awesome right now. So
I think if this were a sitcom and you were like, I'm going to try this all horse cavalry army, it would then cut to like 4 hours later. I am never going to try the all-horse cavalry Tomb King army again. But I get what you mean. Certainly I support that. Because I get absolutely behind all chariot army.
It would be like saying, I'm going to try my all-flyer high elf army. And then Vince comes marching out and lays his Skaven with Storm Banner on the table, and then 2 hours later, you hear me go, I am never going to try my all-flyer army again.
It's not my fault you didn't know that thing existed. All right. No, that's awesome. Do you have you picked up any obviously you've got your those that gaze. I will not choke on the sepulchral.
Yeah, the Medusa stalkers. That's how it's pronounced. I don't care what anybody says. It's Medusa.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Have you actually built any of the knights yet? The riders, the surfers, as it were.
Oh yeah, I have 6 of them, all built up. I've actually ran them before, and they obliterated witch elves. It was glorious. But my only issue with the snakes is, unfortunately, they are way too expensive in a list where you need to have your points spread out. Because if your opponent can really focus in on one unit, that can't take it. Like for example, my Horde Brick of Skeletons with my Tomb King and my Necrotech installed. They can take it. You charge them all day. I can bring them back. They're built for that. They're a sponge for violence. But like the snakes, they're really good. But if your opponent can focus on them, and back when I was running them and I couldn't march, I still can't march if I'm not within 12 inches. They can't tolerate as much pain as like the skeleton warriors can. And in units of 3, I don't find them quite as useful. So I've toyed with another unit of 3 stalkers. I've toyed with another kitty. It's just I'm playing with so many options right now because there's another GT coming up in May, the Carnival of Chaos down in New Orleans that I'm going to, and they're allowing end times like the Legion rules, but they're not doing the 50% lords, 50% heroes, and so I'm trying to make a list that works with all that works for me, and at the same time is competitive and having the snakes. While I love the snakes, the models are just outstanding and everything. I can't make them work in 3s or 4s for that matter. So it's all about trying to find that balance of fun and competitiveness.
Yeah, it's funny. I ran into the exact same thing with the snakes, with the surfers for me. Like 3 wasn't enough, 6 was too expensive. Where's the line in the middle? Yeah, like you put them out there, and then somebody gets a foot of gork off on them, and it's like, oh, well, never mind. Let me just shovel a quarter of my army off the table here because those guys are gone. So yeah, whereas you're used to being able to be more resilient with undead, I think it's a really good point. Tom, what about you? What's on your table?
I had been working on orcs and goblins, putting together my force goblin spider army, hence the spider comments. But that is on pause right now because I am traveling to Columbus to roll some dice with you this weekend, and I have a number of models that I have that need to be constructed for this weekend. So
gotcha. All right, fair enough. You're not going to
phenom.
tell me anymore. I understand.
Here you go. Oh no, never mind. Nope, you don't even get that one.
Well, that's fine. Yes, and on my table is, of course, now that I finally got all your damn birds done. Now we finally had time to move on to our little angry guys here. So there's I won't move them around like a jerk. I'll put some nicer pictures up, but yes, my Storm Fiends. One more to go after them. All, of course, heavily converted because who likes all the normal options in the book? I just stapled on random parts and bits. And by the way, no freaky giant rat backpacks. We have converted backpacks for all of them. I refuse to put the brain rats on the back. Sorry. If you were
so what you're saying, that they're bad fathers. We get it. They're bad fathers.
Yeah, they left them at home or ate them. I don't care. They're just not on my model. That's what's important.
Okay, well, the Ventrilla clan of Skaven are bad parents, which means they have a low population for Skaven. I get that. Okay.
There we go. All right, so that's what everybody's working on. Very good. Let's move on to our main segment for this week, which is the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, so the good, the bad, and the ugly. What is it? Well, other than a really great movie, which you should highly see, especially if you like westerns. But then the context of our current show, the good, the bad, and the ugly is where we pick a topic and talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of that thing. And today's topic is going to be end times. So each of us is going to pick a good thing, a bad thing, and an ugly thing about the end times. So once again, Lord T, as you are the guest, I will pass it to you to begin.
Okay, well, the good thing about the end times, and this is all the end times books that have been released so far, I'm not talking about stuff that might be coming out, is I remember back before the end times came out, everybody, myself included, was always talking about, we want to see the books balanced. I would love the balance. You can't do a balanced army or blah, blah, blah. With the end times books, you have the option now. That doesn't mean people are going to take it. You can, in order to be given balance in the books, you can always break it one way or the other. It's just, that's the nature of the beast. But now it's like GW was actually listening, and they gave us that ability. They gave us the ability to balance our armies. Tomb Kings and VC, you can have balanced lists. I did not finish dead last at the GT I was at, and I played all Tomb Kings, granted, but what I'm saying is you can find balance in the lists now. If you have a weakness with just your original army book, you can now supplement your army with another army book and find the balance that you need to make the army work for you. Same with Warriors of Chaos. I am finally seeing Beastmen on the table again, and I love me some Minotaurs. I love seeing the Gores on the table, and you know what? With the marks on them and stuff now, with what they're able to do, those bastards with Primal Fury or whatever, that leadership auto hatred thing, I'd forgotten all about that. Battle reports coming, but and you guys, it's what we've all been asking for. And I think that's probably better than good. It's great. That doesn't mean people are going to take it and do it, but the ability is there now, and if that doesn't get you excited, then you have no soul. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, what is your bad?
My bad is well, it kind of piggybacks off of that. Not to get religious with anybody, but you know how like when you really pray for something, or you really, really like ask some, oh gosh, I wish I could car, and then you finally like through some act of God or legal, things, you're able to drive a car, and you're ungrateful because the car's yellow and not badass black. Well, that's what I'm seeing from our community. You finally got what you wanted. Oh, I wish we had balance. Oh, I wish we could, I wish the undead were merged back together like they were back in the day. Oh, I wish we would get new models. Oh, I wish they would release more content. And we're getting that now. And they're like, but it's not the way I wanted it to be done. Grow the frick up. And I'm not going to swear because I don't know what the rating is on this show, so you lucky sons of... Anyway, just grow up, community. You've been begging for this, and you got it, and you're spitting in the face of getting it, and that leads into my ugly. What the frick? I mean, come on. You got what you want, and you're acting like these affluent kids. I would love to just collectively pimp slap half the people complaining about everything that's happening. I mean, come on, guys. You got what you asked for. Just maybe not exactly how you wanted it, but too effing bad. This is what you've been begging for, and you got it, and you're spitting in its face, and I should punch you. But I can't because of physics and legal ramifications, and I'm pretty in jail, and I don't want to be... Yeah, so come on. People!
But Dad, this is a Volkswagen. I wanted a BMW. This
Go
isn't
to your
good
room,
enough.
you're adopted, and I don't really love you. You were a mistake. Come on. That's how I feel about our community. Not everybody. Some people are there and stuff, but with the rumors and the pessimism, this is you got a Porsche, and you're mad because it's not kick-ass black, you brats. You collective brats. Grow up, or just... Oh, we need a purge. I don't know. This is everything you've been asking for, and you got it, and you ungrateful, affluent brats. What's wrong with us? Come on, guys. This is friggin' amazing. And people are like, but it's not the way I wanted them to do it. I hate you. It is the most disgusting side of humanity I've seen from the Warhammer community, and it makes me sick. But that's something I'm working on, one individual at a time. Hopefully, people see this and immediately unsubscribe. But whatever. I'm screwed.
Not to us. To him.
Yes,
He said it.
yes. No, to my channel, not to these guys. They don't voice my opinion. That's just me. This is Lord Tremendous' opinions, not Warhammer Weekly.
Yeah. Warhammer Weekly does not in any way support the opinions voiced by Lord Tremendous as part of this broadcast. Oh, yeah.
I'm a rogue agent. But yeah, that's the way I feel. Like it's so great. Not perfect. I didn't say perfect, but it's great. It's what we've been begging for as a community for years, and we got it. And people are bitching about it, and then they start really complaining about it. Screw it. I'm going to do something else now. I'm taking my ball home and I'm leaving. It's like go and play in traffic. I hope a truck hits you. It's so disgusting, and I just wish we could take a step away from our own egos for a minute and see this is what we've been asking for. This is what I got. I got my Porsche, and the fact that it's not yellow really shouldn't bother me, and the fact that it does makes me need to do soul searching immediately so I can become a human being again and not a Paris Hilton or a Britney Spears, because that's what our community is devolving into, pop stars. Think about it.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah.
I was holding back. I didn't swear. I thought that was pretty good. Somebody give me a star.
You did very good. It was very impressive. All right.
It was close.
I don't want Tom to have to follow that rant of exemplary caliber. So
Thank you.
Absolutely. As also, I think we lost Tom for a minute, as I can only see like his face on the thing, the little image, and not him anymore. So we'll give him a second to catch up. And I'll do a quick good, the bad, and the ugly. This will be a pale shadow of your most wonderful rant there.
I apologize.
But yes, the good for me, I would actually place in Nagash and the Undead Legions, because it reinvigorated my love of Tomb King so much. I mean, I love the army. I've got them. I remember, like, right the week they came out, I went and bought the battalion box forever ago, 2000, I don't know, 4 or 3, somewhere in there, whatever they first came out. Because I thought Egyptian undead, I'm in. These are so cool. I loved how clean they were and the look and the teal, and it was just fantastic. But admittedly, they've been pretty terrible in just about every incarnation, and that's okay. I don't mind losing most of the time. That's fine. I like having fun. I'm here to play. Getting your teeth kicked in is part of the game. If you can't deal with it, go play a different game. But it does get a bit much when you feel like you just don't have the right tools or options or stuff like that to deal with a lot of different armies. And you want to build fun stuff, but you felt constrained. And it was just little things like suddenly being able to march, right, when you're within 12 inches and getting rid of crumble. I was like, good, done. I don't need anything from vampire counts. You gave me these 2 rules. It's all I ever asked for. I am happy now. And like it just boom, immediately I went out and I think bought like another whole Tomb King's army off eBay to add to the big one I already had existing, just to get way over the top, exactly as you said. You just want a room full of undead options. Bad. Really, the only thing, like the big bad thing for me so far in End Times, has just been the way that a lot of the books were released, with like making them limited edition when they didn't like, or not having enough print data and stuff like that. I feel like they could have done it better. I understood with Nagash, and I understand they put print orders out, or like not saying to the people, hey, don't worry, we're going to make softbacks, right? So that way you don't have to have people going out and scrounging up the hardbacks real fast, because I think most people would be just fine with a softback. They'd be like, okay, cool, I can't get it now, I'll wait 2 weeks, I'll get the softback. But instead it sort of drove up this secondary market and stuff like that. And I don't care about the secondary market. Like, people are doing what they're doing. It's fine. I'm not going to tell them what they can or can't sell. It's just the idea of the thing that they had it in their power to open a better dialogue with the consumer and didn't. So that's my real bad. The ugly, I will pick simply, not because I think it is actually bad. I mean it exactly like I said it. It is ugly. That thing is hideous, and if that is your thing, then this has got to be the best model they've ever made for somebody who really wants grotesque, because it is a living just grotesquerie on parade. So there you go. That's my good, bad, and ugly. Tom?
Okay. So for my good, it's epic. It's engrossing. I mean, like, to put it this way, like, I had said that I'm a new Warhammer player, and that's the reality. I am. I started playing in August. You want to know why I started playing? The End Times. The reality is, like, I played Mordheim back in the day, and it was fun, and I really enjoyed it. I played Warhammer Online for, a stupid number of years, and I loved the lore, and I loved it, but it was, like, the End Times pulled me into the game. The books are high quality, the art is fantastic, the stories are wonderful. There's, like, it's just this epic smorgasbord of awesomeness, and so, like, I'm in. Like, I saw it and I was like, awesome. I've been kind of interested in Warhammer, and this is what pushed me over the edge. And so, for me, like, that's the good. The flip side of that is that, so paired with that is that I loved the lore. Again, I had this great exposure to Warhammer through prior Mordheim, but more importantly, like, through Warhammer Online, and I played for years, and so, like, I fell in love with my High Elves. I fell in love with my Archmage and my White Lion and Swordmaster and all this stuff. And so, like, every time I wheel my High Elves out onto the table, there's this, like, nostalgic, like, all of those memories of good times of sitting around with my friends playing video games and murdering people on Warhammer Online was fantastic. And so all that gets rolled out every time I trot those Swordmasters onto the table. Or Blackguards or whatever, but that's all going away, because, and this is the bad of it, is that, like, Ulthuan is sunk. All of these, like, I mean, like, in GW, like, this is the direction, is that, like, the aesthetics are changing, like, and that is like hitting me at my core, because that's part of why I wanted to roll this stuff out on the table. I'm painting all of my High Elves in classic, like, legitimate looking High Elf colors, and now, like, that in the next edition, that's not what's going to be in any of the books, probably. Like, and so, like, that's painful to me, because I got in it for that, and then that nostalgia and triggering those memories, and now that's going to be gone. It's going to be swept away with the End Times. So that's the bad for me. is just the murdering of so much of what was core to so many of the races and so much of the identity of the world. And I really hope that they can replace it with something that's compelling. Because prior, what was there before was compelling to me, and so I'm afraid that they won't be able to match it. So we'll see. And then the final one, the ugly, is the reality that all of this is going away. So all these neat Legion rules just got rolled out. I loved High Elves, and I was torn when I started playing because I love High Elves and Dark Elves, and I played both on Warhammer and on War. And what ended up happening was I was like, I'll do High Elves. So then I trot out my High Elf army, and I'm rolling, painting stuff up, and I was like, I really like Dark Elves. And so now we have Elven Legion rules, and now I'm getting to run both, so I can buy a unit of this, and I'm able to throw these armies together. But back in the back of my brain, I know all of this is going away. This isn't going to last. So the end time rules and everything that's getting trotted out, the reality is that this is going to be playable for how many months? A couple months, maybe? Archeon, I know that some models are going to carry over to 9th, sure, I fully buy that, but the reality is that I am sure that whatever the Elven Force list looks like in 9th edition, it's not the Host of the Eternity King as we see it now. Units are going to disappear, and options within those armies are going to disappear. And so the ugly is just that I know that we are on a limited time constraint of getting to enjoy the End Times Magic deck cards.
Yes. Who knows exactly what it looks like, because obviously it could look something like this. You're right, it will definitely look different in some way. But at the same time, perhaps, Tom, what you have just given us is a metaphor for life itself, that we realize that our pleasures and experiences are fleeting and will all eventually end. And in that short time, it is that short time that makes it worth experiencing in the first place. So there you go.
Well, it's an end of an era. This whole release has been an end of an era, an end of a time. They're kind of telling us, stuff is going to change, guys. End times. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be good or better, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be bad either. And that, it just seems to be everything that they've added so far has been awesome, in my opinion, for the most part. Not perfect. I didn't say perfect, but really cool, really beneficial. Like you said, you got into Warhammer because of the End Times book. They're great quality. The new models are amazing. The new options are cool. And yeah, it kicks you in the gut, but the fact that they're evoking that emotion about a fictional world, that alone to me is kind of amazing. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm a published author too, a failed, horrible one, but I do have a book out there, and that's what you go for. You try to invoke those feelings out of people. To invoke that sense of loss in you because Uthon is drowned in the sea. And don't get me wrong, I literally danced when I read that. But but they're invoking that emotion out of you with it and stuff like that, and that is what carries me personally. And I'm not saying this should happen to you or anyone else, but that carries me on. I feel like my army is part of the story. No, I don't expect to see Lord Tremendous's Tomb King ran over and did this, but my Tomb Kings, even though Nehekara has been destroyed by Nagash and they're now folded into the army of Nagash and everything with the vampires and all that, it still feels like I was a part of that. Wow, I was playing when this happened. I was there, and I'm excited to see where it goes after this because it's going somewhere. You're right, I have no idea where. It could be going into, screw you, haha, we're closing our doors. I don't think so, but it could. It's just where it's going and the emotions that it's evoking in everyone, no matter what they are. That's what really is the hook, and that's why I'm excited about to see what happens, not only in the next End Times book in 9th edition and how they're going to handle things with fantasy, especially 9th edition on. So
let me say it this way. And this is why I say it's the ugly. It's like getting a really awesome, really neat looking Christmas ornament for Christmas.
Sure, because you know it's only going to be up on your tree.
Yeah,
you might
it's gonna
also
be up
look
on
at
the
it, though,
tree
as a
for-
very fancy meal that you know once you're done enjoying, it's going to be gone, and what comes out the other side isn't exactly going to be something you want to eat. But that doesn't take away from the savory deliciousness of that steak while you had it.
Right. Right.
I want to use that discussion. That's right. We're talking about eating and pooping. It's high class humor here. So we're gonna use that to segue into in our last 10 minutes here into some Q&A. So we got some questions in, and the first one is for Lord T here. This came from Matiram. So Matiram asked, Lord T, you have been pretty positive about the end time stuff so far, and I think you kind of answered this question, but we'll put a pin on it. Do you think your opinion has been influenced by the fact that your army has been one of the ones that benefited from the end times books?
No, I mean I was enjoying the Tomb Kings before the End Times books came out. I chose the Tomb Kings before I even knew about the End Times books. No, I based my opinions on the fact that I like what they're doing. I like the End Time stuff. I see it as a positive for what was essentially an 8th edition was considered, and I've said this before, a golden age of Warhammer. And I like what the end time stuff is doing. I like that they're advancing the story, even though they're doing it in a painful way. And Tom, totally with you on that one. I get it. I felt it too. It's just the fact that they're advancing it, and it takes a little bit of courage to basically take your whole world and shake the stuffing out of it, and put it back down and show everybody where everything lies. So it's exciting. It's gone from stagnant to very, very active and fluid and changing. I don't know what's going to happen in the next book. That's where a lot of these rumors are coming. Nobody knows for sure, and it's every book that's released. Look, I mean, we're doing an entire show based off of just what they've released over the past few months, as opposed to the year or so the 8th has been out, because it's so exciting and good, bad, otherwise. It's revitalized the game for me especially, and I love that. And the fact that my army, my Tomb King army, is one of the armies that benefited from it early on, yeah, that's definitely a factor, but it's not the deciding factor. For me, it's just the fact that so many things are changing so fast, and it's interesting, and it's good, and it's fun, and it's made it so that I'm seeing new lists and fielding new lists. I can't say enough good things about it. I can say some bad things too, but for the most part, it's good, and that's really where I'm going with it.
Agreed, absolutely. I think energy in the hobby is always better than no energy, right? And sometimes energy is going to come through change, and there's going to be tumult. But I love the excitement, and this really is. This is one of the most exciting times in the past decade to be playing Warhammer. I mean, it's absolutely true. Absolutely. All right, question number 2, also for Lord T. If you had to take up the mantle of one of the Forces of Order armies to face against your Undead Legions army, which army would you choose and why to fight yourself in some sort of bizarro doppelpopolis fight, Lord T on Lord T?
If I had to choose a Forces of Order army, it would be Dwarves, hands down. I absolutely love Dwarves. The only reason I chose Tomb Kings over Dwarves is because my wife wanted to pay Tomb Kings and not Dwarves. Simple as that. It was also close to Lizardmen too, but Dwarves, I love their fluff, I love their attitudes, I love the beards. I know it doesn't look like it. I can't have a beard with my job, sorry. But it's just one of those things I just absolutely love everything about the Dwarves. And if you watched Game 3 of the Shiloh, or Game 2 of the Shiloh GT, they play the way I like to play. They're badass in combat. They have amazing war machines. I love the runes. It would be Dwarves, hands down, and I would kick my butt every time.
I think that is probably true. Not because I think, just because classically for me, when I saw you roll into that game and fight dwarves, I was like, oh no, this is going to go poorly. Dwarves have always kicked a mud hole in my Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings, that is like their worst enemy. You're outgunned. You're so slow going across the board, and they're just having a field day. And then when I tuned into your next battle report, and it was dwarves again, I was like, oh no, why? Why have you cursed him, gods?
Both of those games were actually a lot of fun, though. Both of my opponents were real fun guys. I played in Game 3, Aaron Chapman. I played him before. He's actually a lot of fun, and he's a Masters player. You know, he's going to the Masters. That list was practice for the Masters, and to go up against a guy of that caliber, and he's a good guy. You know, he's not a jerk. He could easily be a jerk with his skill level. I mean, it was kind of an honor to play the guy. I'm not trying to kiss his butt or anything like that, but I enjoy playing against guys of high skill, and both of my opponents, Mr. Chapman in Game 3 and Casey in Game 2, they were a lot of fun. They were well-skilled players, and taking a loss to them was not like, it didn't hurt my pride at all. It was fun. It was like they played me, and this is exactly what should have happened. And I would love to play them again, especially with their dwarf list, because I want revenge.
There you go. That's right. I thought the Shiloh looked very good. Did you overall have very positive experiences there? I don't want you to spoil the upcoming battle reports, but just kind of general sense of a GT.
The Shiloh is probably one of the best run GTs I've ever been to, and I try to run the circuit down here. Mr. Priest, Brian, the guy who runs them, is a lot of fun, real good guy. I don't know him on a personal level or anything like that, but at the GTs, he's very, into the games. He's paying attention. He's walking around. He's looking for the bad seeds. He's looking for constructive criticism, and you don't have to be constructive. You can be a jerk about it. The venue is great. He gets us this great room at this hotel. He really does a great discount on the rooms. He even works with, since it's a college community and they've got all the restaurants and stuff like that, he actually worked out deals with them to hook us up on Saturday and Sunday and stuff like that. It was amazing. I don't know any other GTs that really do it at that level. There was a cash bar on Saturday.
Nice.
I mean, they have that at like the Alamo as well and stuff like that, but it was just it's just that little something extra that he didn't have to do. There was no reason that he had to do that whatsoever, and he just did it because he's a member of the community. He wants to put on a good GT, and he does. And he doesn't know I'm saying this. He doesn't know I don't get anything I have to pay to get in, just like everyone else. Don't get me wrong. But if you can go to a GT, if you have the opportunity to go to a GT in Arkansas, go to that one. Go to the Shiloh. It's not going to disappoint. You could take dead last and you're going to walk away feeling like you're walking on water, because it's flawlessly put on. There's high energy the whole time. I really look forward. My whole gaming group looks forward to it. And if you don't believe me, you can ask them. Come to a GT. We'll be there.
Very good. All right. Very quickly here, simple answer. We'll get this from both of you. Materium's final question. Noblars, great unit or greatest unit?
It is a great unit, especially the trappers. When you charge them and have to take dangerous terrain checks for everything in your unit, I've never been more afraid of tiny little halflings in my entire life. I charged them with Warriors of Chaos ones, Tzeentch Chaos Warriors, and I lost 6 out of 20.
Oh my god, yeah, bane of Chaos Knights everywhere.
They panicked and fled off the table. And my ogre opponent was so pleased. They were 10 trappers, and he put them, because he scouted them, and then he moved them up. And I was like, Tzeentch units charged. Dangerous terrain for everybody. 6 died, and they fled boxcars off the table. I was just like, I need a minute. I just need to fathom what just happened. There's a battle report out there. I don't remember which one it is, but it's back when I was playing Warriors, and it's painful.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Trappers.
Feelings on Noblars?
Knock off goblins.
Oh, ouch.
It's cousins of goblins.
Yes.
It'll be okay. The ogres are going to get rolled into the goblin army. Everything will be okay.
Oh,
there you go.
I'm sure Materium's going to love to hear that too. All right, we end tonight on a word of caution about the internet and a funny story. So one of the other questions we got asked was, I've heard rumors that Archeon could be Sigmar. Thoughts on how that could be true or false? The reason I bring this up is because we do have thoughts on that. I'm not. Please do not take this in any dickish manner. It is not meant like that. This is me absolutely trying to not be that. It's just more of like a larger thing of as far as I know, I don't claim absolutely to be sure of this, but as far as I know, Tom was the one who trotted that out, as Materium pointed out in the comments to the question, last week on Warhammer Weekly and had posted it on some forums, because there are a couple hooks in the story that could lead one to believe that they could do this sort of thing. He has sort of the first ever Chosen's armor, and that's who Sigmar killed, and all this stuff. There's these little points that seem to tie the two together. Now, that could just be them tying the two together, or it could be looking at something larger. There's also fluff out there in some of the novels and stuff that give Archaon a very definitive background, but at the same time, GW has proven before that they are more than willing to invalidate novel fluff to tell a new story.
And we don't know that the narrator in the novels is a reliable narrator.
Absolutely, yeah. The story could all be, yes, the novel could be telling you a lie purposely. There is such a thing as unreliable narrators in story. Absolutely true.
We see this, like, just as a brief aside. Go read the elf, read the lore in the elf, the high elf, dark elf, about the fall of Anarion and Malekith. Go read that sometime. And what you're going to notice is that none of the stories sync up, because all are being told in character, like in the lore, in the voice of that race. And
right.
And the reality is that nobody has the real picture, and we see that now in Kane, End Times Kane. No one actually had the real picture of what had happened there. Part of each of them were true, and part of them was false. And I just wonder if GW has leaned into this with the Archaon, even the 2014 novel they just released, and that they're in a sense also like intentionally spreading disinformation, which they have done in the other 8th edition books. So,
yeah, it's a good point. They frequently have in the past done these sort of conflicting things. It's a great story, the story of Anarion. It's true from both of the perspectives of the races who are giving you the story, right? But none of them is actually the truth. It's a great sort of lesson of perspective. But anyways, so yeah, we effectively started that rumor, I guess, is what happened. So yes, would we like it to be true? Hell yes. I would love to see Sigmar return and be the ever chosen of chaos, and for their very salvation to be their doom. So there you go. Always be careful of the echo chamber of the internet, and also go Sigmar being Archaon and destroy the Empire. Destroy that which you hath wrought, O mighty warrior God. All right, and so with that, we will sign off as we have gone our hour. And I want to personally thank Tom and Lord Tremendous for joining me tonight. Thank you both very much.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.
And don't forget, we're here each and every week, Wednesday, 8 p.m., Warhammer Weekly, your source for news, rumors, and general time wasting talking about Warhammer. And what's that, Tom?
We're going to be doing a special. Did you want to mention that about?
Yeah, we're going to do an End Times point counterpoint sometime this weekend, where we're going to argue about the End Times and whether it's good or bad. And we're going to have an all-out McLaughlin group, Brack point, counterpoint, fisticuffs fight. Fraser Ali.
On 9th edition as well.
Yes.
Like the rumors that are coming out.
Yes. So. End Times 9th edition, good or bad, you decide. All right, so what you should all do now, if I was you, and what I'm going to do is, once I close this down, I'm going to go over to Materim's channel, and I'm going to watch Narrations and Lamentations, as that's a great show, and I highly recommend, if you haven't checked it out, to do so. They have a fantastic show, and they focus on their narrative and answer a lot of great questions and do army reviews and everything else that's wonderful and that you want to see. It's great content. Check it out over on Materim's channel. But for now, we'll sign off. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great week, and as always, see you next Wednesday.